Hey guys, and welcome to Tasmania TV. In today's video I'm doing something that I'm pretty fucking excited about, and it is this. Dun, 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 dun. Sleeping bag shark! Rah! So the thing is, my friends have the cutest little kid, and they call her Shark because she does this thing with her teeth. So I thought I'd give her a sleeping bag shark for Christmas. So this is going to be a baby or child size sleeping bag. So obviously you can take the measurements and just blow them up and make a grown-up size sleeping bag shark. How awesome would that be? If you Google sleeping bag shark, you can find a lot of different versions of it. I'm gonna try to make things simple today, so I'm not gonna do that white belly that the great shark has. So I'm just gonna keep it gray on the outside with a couple of details. For starters, let's take a look at the stuff that you're going to need. Now the bag in the middle is pointing to the fact that I bought all this stuff at Olssons Tyger, so for everyone who lives in Sweden, you can go to this particular store and pick up everything that I picked up. So we're going to start with this thing right here. This is Hobby Polyether, which is kind of a foam mattress. I picked up one that is 60 times 200 centimeters, and it is 2 centimeters thick. Go for anything you like, but I'm using this because I want to make the shark sturdy so that it can actually stand up sort of on its own even when nobody is inside it. The fabrics that I'm going to be using today are mainly gray, so the gray is going to make up the outside of the shark, and then I'm going to use this red for the inside. I'm going to do some detailing with black, and like you can see I only have a little bit of black, and all of these are fleece, so nice comfy fleece fabric. And then I'm going to use these big buttons for eyes. Obviously I forgot to show you a piece of fabric. We're going to use white for the teeth too, duh. So right here is a quick drawing that I made showing how the different pieces will look. Now the main body pieces for the gray, which is the exterior color, are in 2 halves of the top and 2 halves of the bottom, so that we're able to sew the fins on. Actually the bottom half doesn't even have to be in 2, it can be a full one. But the red, the inside ones, do not have to be cut in half, so you can have full body pieces for that. I'm going to show you once I've cut the pieces out too. So if you need to take a look at this a bit longer, then go ahead and pause right now. I have now laid all of my pieces out like this. Let's start over here. Over here we have the 2 main body pieces for the inside, and as you can see they're all red. So this is the only thing we're using the red fabric for. So 2 exact similar ones of those. And then I'm gonna go way over here where the bottom outer layer for the main piece is. And as you can see, it is intact. And then over here we have all the details. I'm going to point with my foot, sorry about that. So these 2 big pieces here are the same as that one, only that they're divided down the center, as you can see. Above the shark are a whole bunch of teeth, which are just triangular shaped white pieces. Now all the fins you're looking at are 2 layers. Like these right here, see? 2 layers. So you have 2 over here on the right side, 2 over here on the left side, 2 for the back fin, 2 for that back fin, 2 for that back fin, and then 2 for the actual tail. And then I've also cut these 3 for each sides, black strips, which is kind of the gales, I guess, and then just laid out the buttons for you to see. So if you need to look at this a bit longer, then just go ahead and pause right now. The first thing that we're going to sew are actually the fins, starting with the details today. So I'm going to show you as an example. This is the back fin, you know, that fin. So what I've done is put needles all around the outer edge, except for this edge right here. This is going to be left open so that we can stuff it with foam later. So I'm going to start by just sewing all the way around, like so, leaving this edge open, and I'm going to do that for all the fins. When all your fins have been sewn, you can flip them all the correct way, and then put them aside for now. The next thing we're going to do is sew the button eyes and the 3 gales or black strips to the sides of the headpiece. So I've pinned my 3 strips like so. Remember to not pin them too close to the edge because you're going to need some seam allowance for this. So then go ahead and sew those for both sides, and then go ahead and sew the button eyes, I'm going to do this by hand obviously, to the top layer as well for both sides. I just cut out the 2 big main foam pieces, and I'm going to cut out the pieces for the fins next. I'm using a carpet knife for this because cutting through the foam is quite tricky, and I'm using just a regular tray from the kitchen underneath so that I don't damage our floor. Now, since this fabric is pretty elastic, you can use the actual size of your fins to go by. So I just put my fin out like so, and then just cut around it. And remember, once you've stuffed your fins with the pieces, you're supposed to have about 2 centimeters over right here so that you can sew them on without sewing through the foam, because I don't think your sewing machine is going to like that. And then stuff your fins with the foam. Repeat that process for all your fins. Once you're done with stuffing your fins with foam, it's time to start sewing these 2 top pieces together by this middle that's open right here, and we're going to sew the middle back fin on as we do that. So I want the fin to end up about here, so I'm just going to lie that down like so, and then flip this side so that the 2 pieces are facing each other with the insides out, and then pinning that down. So go ahead and sew that. It's time to sew everything together. Now, in order to do that, we're going to need to layer these things. I'm going to start with a layer of red, which is what will end up on the inside when everything is flipped the correct way. After that, I'm getting out the bottom layer of the gray, placing that on top. After that, it's time to lay out your fins. I'm going to place these pointing inwards because we're going to sew them on inwards, and then when we flip everything, they're going to be on the outside. So it feels a little weird doing it like this, but this is the way they will end up correct in the end. And remember, you need some of the fabric sticking out right here so to make sure that you really sew through all the layers. And again, we don't want to sew into the foam, so try to sort of poke that in. Might actually wait to do the end fin until later. Then it's time for the top layer, which will be placed facing inside out like this. And then finally, another layer of red. And we're going to pin all the way around except for this rounded head and mouth area. This is going to be left open so that we can pull the mattress in, or the foam in. And since we're leaving the tail fin for now, don't pin this side either, so just the sides really. Alright, so I'm now going to sew along the pinned lines, leaving the hole for the tail fin and the entire mouth area unsewn. Once you've sewn that and made sure that all of your fins are sewn in nice and tight, it's time for the tail fin. Now we want this to end up standing up like this, not lying flat. So instead of sewing it flipped like this, which we did with the others, we're actually going to sew it standing up. And it's going to be in between the 2 gray layers, just like the other fins. Only now, we're going to pin and sew in this direction instead of in this direction. Alright, we actually have something slightly resembling a shark. Now, since this one is for toddler, I don't want to make the shark looking too scary, so that's one of the reasons why I use the cute button eyes. The face is more rounded, and as you know, children are shorter than grown-ups, so this is a kind of short fat shark. If you're making it for a grown-up, you can make it longer, leaner, thinner, and have that sort of more pointy snout that they actually do have. And I also recommend making the belly white because that makes it look even more like a shark. But this is for a toddler, so I want to keep it cute. So it's time to get out the foam pieces that we cut that are going to go on the inside of the shark. Now these are made bigger than the actual shark. That will make them sort of bend like this and make the shark stand up. Once you're happy with the way you've stuffed your shark, the only thing that remains is the mouth. I'm actually going to sew the entire mouth and the teeth on by hand. Just like that, all the way around. All my teeth are now pinned, and I'm going to sew them on by hand using white thread. And I'm going to do a couple of stitches in here too, so that the teeth aren't going to hang loose, so that they're actually going to be sewn down like this. But you can keep them hanging if you think that that's fun. So once you get the teeth on, your shark is done. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Happy holiday! Dum 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 dum. Ah!